Beyonce says there ain't no Hold'em in Texas anymore, but I tell you what, one of these drivers, one of the many drivers here on the night, will be left holding all the cards and potentially all the chips when we throw the checkered flag at Texas Motor Speedway. Will it be another new winner to make it 4 for 4, or what one of our 3 previous winners have a shot at adding another trophy to their car and title this season? Only one way to find out. Joining us on ABN for our coverage of Winstel Cup Series racing live from Texas Motor Speedway. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Joe Cortez. Joining me as always, the boss lady Carmen, Sienna. And Carmen, we've got a lot of fun tonight ahead of us of what would be the Samsung RadioShack 500 is going to be run in these beautiful Gen 4 cars at a legacy version of Texas Motor Speedway.
Yeah, taking things and throwing things back a little bit. This is Texas before the reconfiguration, so turns 1 and 2 are a little bit different, a little bit quicker than what it is now, but it's a lot tighter now as well too. So these drivers, you have to worry about, running the inside or the outside lane. You can't just spread out the way some drivers have become used to in later years here at Texas Motor Speedway. Another thing, this track, you want to talk about the banking from Las Vegas, it's the same banking here at Texas and even bumpier than it was at Las Vegas. These drivers have a handful, but because of how this track's profiled, now they're a handful and they're constantly side by side. There was a little bit of jockeying for track position last week. That's not going to be so much the case as much as it is low line or high line here, or especially in 3 and 4. Those photo finish drag races to the line, you're going to see that in spades tonight.
Definitely in spades. As we mentioned at the top of the show, 3 unique winners so far this season. Gabriel Mauricio won at Daytona to start off the season. Tyler Head, the defending champion, won 2 weeks ago at the Rockingham Speedway, North Carolina Speedway in Rockingham. And last week you watched Brandon McKissick take it home at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. So one of the storylines we're watching tonight, are we going to have a 4th consecutive new winner, or is one of those 3 going to take it away? Let's go take you through the Cup standings real quick. Gabriel Mauricio currently still in the lead with his 1 win, finished top 5 in all 3 races. Dylan Roberts 20 points behind him in 2nd. Emily Howe, the Winstel 400 winner, in 3rd. Sean Bailey, Thomas Lundowski rounding out the top 5. Last week's winner, Brandon McKissick, jumps up 12 spots in position number 6. Evan Lack in 7th. Jose Solis Jr., who had a great run, almost won in Las Vegas, will be position number 8. Chris Champeau in 9. And our ABN's very own Chrissy Ryan rounding out the top 10. Now, this is going to be the last race, Carmen, where the last season standings matter. After this race, only the top 35 in points for this season are locked in.
Yeah, it's a very tight cut line. Obviously, looking at how this race is really going to shape the rest of the season for some drivers, the cut line between being locked in and not right now is a simple 5-point deficit between Michael O'Brien and Olivia Hayward. So that's how close it is, just to make sure that you're not having to go or go home qualify your way through the season, especially once we get into the bigger races like Charlotte, the 2nd race at Daytona. Obviously, those are races that we expect to see a lot more faces in as well. Very important to not miss those races going into the season. So this cut line here, very important, especially the bottom of the order there. And this is a track that it can shake the field up a decent amount. You have a driver that maybe hasn't had a good start of the season. They can roar back and get a really good result here and flip what we're looking at right now completely upside down.
There is still plenty of time to do that going into the race tonight. So plenty of time for everything to get flipped, everything to get fixed, everything to go all kinds of haywire as we get ready to start qualifying here in just 5 minutes or so. How many drivers have checked in so far, Carmen?
Last update I saw, we were at 42, and that was before we went live. So we're looking at a really decent number of cars here. I'm not sure if we have the 44 to force go or go home qualifying. We had 43 on the dot last week in Las Vegas. Believe we may be at that number now because Davin Cornelius just jumped in. He's going to be in the 77 car, I believe, tonight. Looking at Brennan McGee right now on your screen, looking for his 4th start. Has not had a top 5 or a top 10 all season long, and has only really won once in Winstel in the last year. He's won at Talladega, looking to do something a little bit more special here tonight, but his lap time immediately going to be bumped out of the top 10.
I misspoke. Live qualifying happening right now as we speak. Let's follow along with the 97 machine. The Sharpie Ford of Michael O'Brien currently taking his hot lap. One hot lap for these guys. Maybe a second if they feel so inclined, but most of these guys only take one lap at the start-finish line here in Texas. Michael O'Brien will turn in a time to put him in 15th, and that's probably not going to stand very long as he starts to drop down the field.
Yeah, very important for him. He is 35th right now in the points, so he's working to stay above that cut line. But more and more drivers will put in lap times. Looking at Brandon McKissick, last week's race winner, looking to go back-to-back. No one's done it yet this season. McKissick has the ability to do so, but his only win last week is also his only top 5 and top 10. So he's not had the luck up until last week.
Not a ton of luck going up into this race, but maybe this one, maybe that win was all he needed to change his luck a little bit, change his perspective, and give himself the confidence he needs to potentially be our first back-to-back winner here in the 2004 throwback of the Winstel racing season. As cars crosses the start-finish line, he will turn a position right now in the top 10, and it looks like he may at least be squared to start in the top 15.
Yeah, looking really good right now for McKissick, and he is going to go for that second lap. Not a lot of drivers have, but McKissick thinks that he's got the ability to. Going to really send it into 3 and 4, and he's going to bail out of it. Wasn't worth it at that point, so McKissick will bail out of it. Lewandowski going to finish his lap time here. A couple of top 10s to his credit going into tonight.
Ooh, touches the wall back there, and that's not going to be a great qualifying spot for him. He will qualify right now in 20th, and that might even fall a little bit more depending on who all shows up for the race.
Yeah, Jonathan Hernandez just now leaving pit lane, the number 1 machine. He's got a top 10 already this season. I believe he got that top 10 at Rockingham a couple races ago. Looking to do something special here tonight. 34 have already set lap times. Pole sitter is Zach Campbell in the 41. Last car of the lap time set is Ali Osmond in the 30, who has not been here the last couple of weeks. Olivia Hayward's not set a lap time either. Philip Snipes set a lap time, but was disallowed because he tagged the wall on his lap. Same with Mo Perry.
Hernandez now coming through turns 3 and 4 in that DEI Snap-on Chevrolet. What will his time be? Oh, he might have tagged the wall. Yes, he did tag the wall there. That's not going to be an allowed time.
And that's going to ruin both of his laps if he did decide to run that second lap, because obviously tagging the wall, you lose your momentum. And it looks like he may have had some damage on that run to really kind of throw him backwards on that. So right now it looks like Zach Campbell pretty well clear for the pole position with nobody on track at the moment. We are at 42 exact. Olivia Hayward, Jonathan Hernandez, Ken Huff, Tori Steinhauser, Philip Snipes, Mo Perry, Hayden Rapus, and Matt Taylor, all failing to set a time here in qualifying.
Racing about to begin as the drivers get the call to their cars, this time by Carmen. What are we looking at as far as our race, our laps go?
Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting turn of events here. Obviously, you're looking, it's going to be a little bit longer. In theory, it's 60 laps still, the same length we had at Las Vegas last week. Same track length, obviously, 1.5 miles here, but the track profile is going to be so much more different. And the tire was going to be more important as well. So these lap times will slow down as this run goes along a little bit quicker than what they did last week. A little bit longer of a race, a little bit more tire saving needed to get through this race tonight. But this is another track where track position may not be the most critical thing at the start of the race. You can move your way forward on inside or outside lanes, I mentioned at the start of the show. We'll see that, especially further on down the order. Some drivers will need to use that tonight.
This is a race where pit road is going to be not only a very busy place, but it's also going to be the place where this race could be won or lost. Let's go ahead and take you through the starting grid tonight. Starting in row number 1, your pole position, Zach Campbell in the 41 Waste Management Dodge. On the outside of him, Jose Solis Jr. in the number 29. Row number 2, Larry Pace will begin inside in position number 3. On the outside of him, your Daytona winner, Gabriel Mauricio, in position number 4. Nick Doucette and Christian Budd make up row number 3. Row number 4, Anthony Schroback on the inside, Aaron Smith in the second on the outside, and rounding out your top 10, last week's winner, Brandon McKissick, will start opposite Mike Rasmus.
Yeah, Rasmus at the podium there at Rockingham. He knows what it's like to be top 10 here in the Winstel Cup Series. Looking further down the next row of 10, or the next row of 5, I should say, Dylan Roberts and Parker Alexander in row 6, just outside the top 10, and ahead of Emily Howe and Ryan Doucette. Sean Peleg and TJ Crampton in row 8. They'll make up the top 16. Brennan McGee, we saw him. He was fast in practice. Lost it, though, in qualifying there alongside Emily Howe's brother, Justin Howe. Both them on track here tonight and very close to each other in those first 10 rows. The top 10 rows really lined up there with Michael O'Brien, a big race for him, and for Lewandowski, a very low qualifying position for that 21 Wood Brothers machine.
As the cars start to go around the track, let's take you through the rest of the field. Alex Bass, Andrew Griesbaum will be in row number 11. Row number 12 belongs to the 99 of Craig Lautenslaughter and the 18 of Chris Chambeau. Tyler Murray and Evan Locke will start row number 13. Row 14 belongs to Brandon Cruz and Jared Bales. And back in row number 15, the 77 of Davin Cornelius and the 00 of Chrissy Ryan.
Very interesting row 15 there with Cornelius and Ryan there. Very close friends of ABN there in row 15. Looking further down the order, it's Corey Cook and James Bowles. Leandro Morera making his debut in the 16 alongside Ali Osman. And then the drivers that didn't qualify, Jonathan Hernandez, Matt Taylor, Philip Snipes, Olivia Hayward, Mo Perry, Ken Huff, and further down the order, the last row, Corey Steinhauser and Hayden Rapus will round out the 42-car field here in Texas tonight.
Nearly a full car field at Texas Motor Speedway at a track where tire management, fuel management, and ultimately managing your position will matter more than at Las Vegas. Who's it going to be as the pace car makes a hard left turn down pit road? The 41 of Campbell will lead these cars to the green flag. It flies, and here we are. We have begun at Texas Motor Speedway. The 41 gets a good jump on the front from the start, but through turns 1 and 2, he will continue to get a great lead, forcing the second place driver, the 29, to jump in his wake. This could be a one-lane race early on.
Yeah, Jose Solis Jr. there sitting in the second in that different look 29. That Icebreakers number 29 there sitting in second. Larry Pace trying to battle with third alongside the Daytona 500 race winner, Gabriel Mauricio. And then you see it's still 2 by 2, several cars through. It's a car on the inside lane, Matt Taylor trying to lead pit lane. He missed the start in that 32 Tide machine. Its cautions come out early. And there's easy indication as why the 01 of James Bowles again involved, as well as Mo Perry.
Looks like at least 6 cars involved in that incident. Early for a caution to come out here in Texas, but you know, when high stakes are on the line, you pull out the stops and you do what you can to make this race work for you. We'll go back and take a look at what happened there, but my account, it looks like 5 or 6 cars were involved in that incident. And as we take a look now, we'll have to see where exactly the trouble began.
Yeah, it looks like it's James Bowles again, who did not have a good time. It starts ahead of him. It starts with the 49 and the 0. So Griesbaum and Cook, looks like they were the ones involved in that. Let's see if we can focus on them real quick, because Corey Cook seems to have a decent, and it's already in the beginning of turn 1. This is in the trioval, really, looking at Corey Cook. Let's see if we can pull up the good old trusty chopper cam. There we go. Perfect angle of that. And we'll play it in full speed. Yeah, Corey just tries to come up behind the 49 and clips him.
And the 49, heavy damage, another heavy damage on the 16 as well. The National Guard Ford Fusion out there. Looks like we're going to have a couple cars now that's going to come out. Leandro Moreira. How do you pronounce that, Carmen?
Leandro Morera.
Leandro Morera, I had it right the first time. Thank you. Leandro Morera, first start might be an early night for him. Olivia Hayward also has heavy damage on the 36 machine. Like I said, 6 cars involved, and the cars that were involved heavy.
Yeah, it was one of those things. It was all or nothing. You see the damage there in the 36 car. I believe that 36 car is now officially out of this race. James Bowles in pit lane. Hayward is officially out of this race. Matt Taylor, see if we can grab him. He is running but in the 42nd position, again, a lap down from that initial start there. Zach Campbell still leads the way, but for everyone in the top 10, they didn't really have a chance to get started in this race before that caution came out.
No, they did not. They did not really get a chance to get started. They really did not get a chance to do any racing amongst themselves, which is going to make this restart very, very interesting. We go to the the two wide start at the beginning of this race. Now everyone's going to settle into a single file restart. So now the question is, where does everybody go? Who picks the lanes early, or do they stay in a one-car train until they can get some friends to pick a lane with them? I think draft is definitely going to play a part in this race, and at the end of it, it's a matter of who's your dance partner when push comes to shove.
Yeah, that'll be a very interesting question here. Zach Campbell in the 41 will lead the way, though, over Jose Solis Jr., who once again a top 5 threat. Larry Pace looking good at the start as well. He looked good at Rockingham, too, just couldn't really keep it put together in that third position. Gabriel Mauricio, we know how good he is right now, but he's exactly where he started. You don't really see any position changes until you look at Christian Budd in 5th, looking to make something happen in that 17 to Walt Ford. He's ahead of Nick Doucette. Then Brandon McKissick's up 2 spots. He made a really quick gain further down the order there. Then Anthony Krobach in the 11th position. Aaron Smith's lost a spot, but he started top 10. Not a bad effort for the DHL Dodge there in the 59 car. And then Dylan Roberts running out the top 10. Again, not a lot of shufflings had a chance to go on. Now everyone gets free pick. That was the big thing. You were either in the outside lane or the inside lane before. Now you get to move around a lot from the get-go on this restart. That is going to be super important for these drivers. Inside lane typically reigns supreme, but if you're someone like Dylan Roberts sitting on your screen right now, you're not going to sit 10 cars deep in that inside lane. You're going to pick that outside lane and gamble on yourself.
You're doing a little gambling on yourself, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. But once again, I have to ask, how many of these guys are going to go on their own? How many of these guys and gals are going to go on their own? And how many of them are going to wait for a partner to do a little Texas two-stepping? Where this generation did not have the strong tandem drafting that later generations of these cars did. So these guys are going to be working in line with each other, hoping to get some partners to go align with them. And Carmen, I got a feeling we're going to see somebody go real quick. We're going to see two lines form up very quickly, but I don't know that anybody wants to be that first one in fear that a line will form around them and they're going to go backwards.
It's less of a fear here than it is. Obviously, you think about plate tracks like Daytona and Talladega. You obviously had that fear all the time. It's less of a fear here because you're thinking about clean air more than anything. You go where the cars aren't. So you're more keen to be that first car. You just don't want to be like the 7th car and you're just stuck behind a wall of cars at that point. Being the first car to jump out, especially if you're someone behind the 17 of Christian Budd and further on down, that's not the worst thing in the world. It's just a matter of how comfortable the drivers feel because they didn't have a chance to feel those cars out in traffic to begin the race.
Once again, the 41 in charge of this entire field. Pace car makes the hard left turn down pit road, and we are waiting for the green flag for 41 to take the green flag. Here we go. Green flag racing. Campbell in charge one more time. We are back on lap number 6, and Campbell wasting no time, keeping all those cars behind him, but now they're starting to jockey a little bit. Now we're starting to see people experiment with lines, going through turns 1 and 2, single file through those turns. Let's see if anybody gets bold on the backstretch.
Really good view there, looking at everyone really single file there. Just looking out in the far cams here that we have around Texas Motor Speedway. You saw the first car that was out there kind of just sitting and running. Nick Doucette in that 24 car trying to find a way around Brandon McKissick, but he's certainly the only one that wanted to make that move. Now Christian Budd will do the same thing, trying to get around the Daytona 500 race winner, Gabriel Mauricio. And Doucette goes really wide.
Yes, he is very wide. Both of them trying to get around the hard way, but this is exactly what I was talking about, Carmen. Nobody wants to go with them. Nobody is really interested in helping them along, so they're going to struggle a little bit, burning off a little bit of tire as well. They may be forced to be the first ones down pit road, especially those tires go out on them as they try to get back in line here. We watch Nick Doucette trying to figure out where he's going to go, trying to figure out who's going to go with him, and everyone's saying, nah, we're going to leave you hanging out by yourself. Meanwhile, up front was the lead change. The 29 now leading, the 29, I believe, now leading the 41.
Yeah, got around him there. Zach Campbell drifted up there, now riding on board with the rear end of Jose Solis Jr. Zach Campbell there trying to defend from Larry Pace. Now again, really good looks there from the gearbox, from the bumper of Jose Solis Jr. He goes right to the white line there. You see that. You see Christian Budd running out on the outside lane, trying to make something happen. Solis finally got done what he couldn't do at Daytona, Rockingham, or Las Vegas, and that's get to the front of the field.
And he is making a big run the front of the field. He will lead his first laps for tonight as we are halfway through this pit window. Because we have those 4 or so laps under caution, expect this window to get extended a little bit. We should see people coming down between lap 25 and lap 30 for tires and a full tank of virtual Sunoco Racing Fuel. I had to go do my math back to 2004 with this one. But Jose Solis Jr. continuing to lead as now a contingent of cars are going to try the low side, see if they can make some moves. Nick Doucette still way up high, could make it a 3-wide race, will back off as Solis continues to lead Campbell.
Right, but with Gabriel Mauricio here, obviously winner at Daytona. 3 top 10s in a row. Only top 5 came there from Daytona when he got that race win. Racing very tight there. You see Larry Pace, they're off to the left-hand side of your screen. Fighting tooth and nail for this one right now. He's won that 3rd spot. That silver bullet on the outside lane beginning to work. And that's something that's very important to talk about here. At Las Vegas, the further up you ran, the worse your tires got. That's not entirely true here at Texas. It's not entirely how this track works. It's one of the key differences here at Texas Motor Speedway. The outside lane doesn't have an incredible difference on your tire wear. So that's a very important difference. It's just a longer way around. You're trying to generate momentum, so it's very easy to block and stall that out.
And you see Nick Doucette trying that strategy as well as he slowly creeps his way through the field. Right now we're watching the 40 and 98 side by side, but don't count out Nick Doucette just yet as he races on the outside of the 17 machine. He has slowly been trying to work his way up through this field. He's got a little bit of help there on the high side with the 29 and the 40 all going up there with him as we have a new battle for the lead. Jose Solis Jr. under fire from Campbell. Campbell will back up and run behind him this time by, but he knows now he can run beside him. If he makes a mistake, it could be Campbell's race once again.
Yeah, Campbell going to pressure him, and Solis not really shutting the door on him either. Solis rather would be at the outside lane as a weapon in the inside lane. Campbell's going to go for it, though. And he's going to almost get clear down the back straightaway. That's what I'm talking about with the momentum. Solis was really far behind, but had the momentum down that back straightaway to keep level with Campbell. But it's a losing fight. And you talk about that. It's going to happen again here on the front straightaway. This quad oval, the dog leg here. Campbell leads that lap.
Campbell will officially lead that lap, but will he lead the next one? That is the question everyone's starting to find as you see both lanes coming to life now. Solis and Doucette almost running up against the wall. Not sure if they tagged it. I don't think they did, but Mauricio has the door open for him in the 40. He's now going to challenge Solis Jr. for that top spot as Campbell looks like he will lead another lap. Will lead lap number 16 of 60 here in Texas.
Yeah, they switch positions there, and remember the 41 and the 40 are teammates here. The Chip Ganassi Racing teammates there, the 41 and the 40, trying to make some work happen. A little bit further down the order, they've got a third teammate, Evan Lockdown, in 24th, but these two really carrying the banner, not only for Chip Ganassi Racing, but for Dodge as well. It's Chip Ganassi Racing and RCR, with a little bit of Hendricks peppered in that top 5 at the moment, with Doucette up to 4th now.
I have to admit, it is really fun watching these vintage cars go through the field and going back through the teams of yesteryear when you had 3 or 4 car teams and you had names like Chip Ganassi, like Robert Yates, and others involved in the sport. It's fun to see that come back, and these guys are doing a great job doing honor to all of those race fans back from 20 years ago when these cars were a lot more difficult to handle as we continue running. Now 3 wide for a moment there between the 8 and the 24. The 6 also getting involved as well there, all mixing it up, trying to work their way up through the field. 2 lines once again forming, and I'm not sure this far back either one has momentum.
Yeah, we're going to see a little bit further back here, running on board with Davin Cornelius. Actually, running on board with Christina Ryan as Davin Cornelius made a pass. These two made contact a couple laps ago. These two are battling for the 25th position. They are very far off the pace here. Again, they started in row 15, so they started 29th and 30th. They're both gained spots. but they've been making contact a couple times so far in this race already, trying to get around Evan Locke, who has been really defensive in his driving so far. Has not made a lot of friends, that 42 car, in this race at the moment. Christina Ryan, obviously playing with information there, started 30th, up to 26th. This midfield battle beginning to get very physical, a lot more physical than the front of the field, where they saw so much more space up front. That's gone away. Now you have to move somebody to make some things happen. You see right here, it's Ryan, Locke, Cornelius, and Brandon Cruz just ahead in that number 20 Home Depot machine. Everyone fighting, and it's gonna get ugly, I feel like, especially with pit stops on the way. You want to make sure you're not vulnerable when that pit stop comes in.
Gonna get a little bit weird, gonna get a little bit wild as these drivers start using the chrome horn to encourage their driver in front of them, to give them a little room and let them move forward down the field. Mid-pack is still going very well, as through the top group, it's starting to go for the most part, single file. Best battle right now is between the 10 and the 48 machines, as they are side by side going into turns 1 and 2. In front of them, more two-lane battles, as we are now officially a third of the way done.
Yeah, obviously, you talk about the pit window here. Obviously, it was extended with that first caution of the race on the opening lap. Now you're seeing 3 wide. Everyone trying to get around Larry Pace. Dustin Roberts in the 8. That is Gabriel Mauricio in the 40. As a car came in, that was Jose Solis Jr., who just bailed the pit lane. He decided to come in a couple laps early.
Jose Solis, who is trying every lane out there, he's going to be the first one to come down pit road, looking for 4 tires and a full tank of fuel. Meanwhile, the battle continues here in position number 3. Carpenter still in the lead there in the number 41 Fujifilm Dodge. It'll be behind him. It'll be I believe Brandon McKissick in second, and a lot up. Now we got more takers down pit road.
Yeah, that was Larry Pace that had a little bit of a wobble there, and McKissick goes around. Brandon McKissick goes all the way around. Unfortunate for him, Las Vegas's race winner. Not hot in a pit lane, or maybe too hot in pit lane. Couldn't carry it, and now Mike Rasmus gonna try to capitalize on that. He's inherited the race lead, but pit lane causing some troubles, and everyone now very tiptoe-ish and walking on eggshells entering pit lane there. Mauricio, Bud, Doucette, Peleg all entering pit lane that time. Rasmus trying to extend this as long as possible, get the traffic out of the way before making that pit stop. Very smart call.
Rasmus, a newer driver to the Winstel Cup Series. He can lead his second lap out here behind them. It's going to be, I believe that is the 77. No, check behind them. It's a 10.
So it's a 59. Yeah, so Aaron Smith, we remember him having the black scheme at Daytona. They moved to the yellow scheme here. So they've been running the yellow scheme the last couple races. We didn't see him a lot at Las Vegas, but he is here in pretty well in full focus here in Texas, as Ryan Doucette and Mike Rasmus, Justin Howe, and Christina Ryan all come down pit lane this time. Aaron Smith takes over the race lead. So that is a bit of a change. Now there's several yellow cars to keep an eye on, several yellow with red highlights, especially at that. But Aaron Smith leading the way over Parker Alexander now. Olivia Hayward back out on track after having that incident there on lap 1, just trying to scavenge any points that she can find here at Texas Motor Speedway. As the leaders come in once again, it now cycles to Thomas Lewandowski.
Lewandowski, who was hot in Vegas, led a couple laps out there as well. He's going to go high and let merging traffic come onto the track. Will he be the next one to come down pit road? As everything gets scrambled and jumbled out there, lots of drivers to watch, lots of things to happen. We'll have to wait for all the pit stops to cycle through before we can tell you where exactly everybody is going to go. As we watch now, the 77 machine that belongs to Davin Cornelius. I believe that is your leader right now, but how long? But for how long?
Yeah, obviously not going to be out there for too much longer. Several cars already coming back down pit lane. Only 6 cars that have stayed out so far in this race. Lewandowski just came down pit lane, so that makes it the top 5 that's really just stayed out there. So you're looking at Cornelius, Matt Taylor, Corey Cook, Philip Snipes, Hayden Repas, who just came in the 89 machine. I do believe, no, he's coming in this time by, though. So we do know that there are some more people coming in. Cornelius, though, not one of them. He's going to spend his time in the sun as Aaron Smith goes by.
absolutely get those bonus points for leading a lap. And I've got a feeling that these drivers are betting on a late caution. These drivers are the one who are gambling that there will be a late caution so they can stay out longer. It's not going to be a one-stop race for these guys. It may get close if there's caution flags, but it's not going to be a one-stop race for these guys. I've got a feeling what they're going to try to do is try to extend their window as far as they can. So if there is a late caution, they won't lose a ton of space or a ton of positions when they have to go back in. We've cycled through, and it looks like Solus will be your leader.
Yeah, right now waiting on Philip Snipes and Hayden Repas to make that pit stop there. Repas missed pit lane there on that last lap, so did not come down pit lane. Philip Snipes staying out, though. They came in and topped off a field at the end of that first caution, so they went even further forward on that strategy. They were hoping to cut out a pit stop altogether. That doesn't seem to be the case, though, with just how the mileage is working out so far. But they were hoping, you know, they're going to have to, at this point, cut their losses, come down pit lane, and hope to avoid going a lap down here.
Very interesting what an early caution will do to pit strategy. Lots of fun ideas to chase around here as we come to the halfway point. Cross flags in the air. Jose Solis officially your leader, this time by the Fujifilm machine that belongs to Zach Campbell. He was 9th last season in the 2003 Winstel Cup Series. He's looking for his first win as well. Started on the pole, staying competitive with Jose Solis. Now diving down low. It's going to be a battle of who wants it more and who's going to have the better approach coming off of turn number 4, and if that 32 is going to act like a pick for one of these two drivers.
Obviously, you see with Zach Campbell, a 2022 Winstel champion. That was the 2016 season. So obviously these are not done in order. These are community voted themes for the season. They voted on 2003 last season, 2004 this season. Zach Campbell won 2 years ago, won the championship here in Winstel. Did not race outside of Daytona, did not race Rockingham or Las Vegas, back on track here. And right now really busting Jose Solis Jr. for that top spot. And then it's Ryan Doucette further down in third. The number 10 machine, that is Ali Osman in the 30, a lap down. First car a lap down, I do believe. But Doucette in third, trying to stay ahead of Larry Pace, who has had a phenomenal performance so far. But we saw that before from 98 at Rockingham, and it fell apart at the end. Let's see if he can hold on to it here in the second half of this race, now that we've crossed the half flags mark.
Got to also give a shout to the 32 machine of Matt Taylor. He has so far found a way to run on the tail end of that lead lap. So technically he's not a lap down just yet until he gets passed by your leaders, but that could be happening. Right now the leaders not really interested in challenging him as much as they are interested in challenging each other. Back up front, side by side, Solis Carpenter 1 and 2, and you can throw a blanket between them as Osman now wants to get her lap back.
Yeah, he's doing it what he can to try to get his lap back here. Campbell gets to the race lead, though, with the lap traffic interference. Jose Solis couldn't get right back to the inside lane. Osman, though, he's going to do what he can to try to get that lap back. It's just unfortunate that pit stops have really kind of separated him from the rest of the field, but he's going to get it. Osman gets back on the lead lap there. That is Osman in 33rd. He is back on the lead lap, and the leaders now will have to deal with this the entire rest of the race as long as it goes green.
But the more important thing that Osman did there is he broke up the spacing between Carpenter and Solis Jr. So now Solis Jr. lost a lot of momentum coming off of those two turns. He's going to open the door for Brandon McKissick to come in and try to take some positions away, maybe even try to pick off the lead from Carpenter. Now you see McKissick with a huge run. He's going to go outside. He may be your next leader.
Yeah, that's Philip Snipes there, who just got his lap back as well.
Philip Snipes.
Well, this is very interesting because the lap down cars are getting their laps back now. Philip Snipes just got a lap back. Ken Huff just lost his lap. But this is now the third lap down car that's gotten around the race leaders. The race leaders, for some reason, just aren't having that same pace in this run. There's obviously another pit stop to go in this race. But right now, very interesting just how everything's shaken up here, and it's really shaken up the further down your order you get, because Campbell's had a chance to break away. It's from Solis on down that it begins to sort of congregate, especially in this top 10.
I feel like your lead drivers, they're letting the lap cars go by because number one, they know it doesn't matter a whole lot to them, and number two, more importantly, they're trying to conserve as much as they can. I feel like they're doing countdown racing instead of aggressive racing up front. Now, what do I mean by countdown? I mean they're trying to count down exactly how many laps they can run before they have to go down pit road. And for some of these guys, I can't help but wonder if they are going to try to extend it to a one-stop race if we go green. You see them conserving tires, conserving fuel very hard there. I got a feeling they are going to try to do everything they can to extend the life of their cars and not have to come down pit road in about 5 to 6 more laps.
That's the hope. Unfortunately, for a lot of the leaders, they did not come down under that caution, so they're stuck on that two-lane strategy as here comes Campbell and Ryan Doucette and Larry Pace all come in. You're looking at some of the drivers that came in under that first caution that really extended their window there. You're looking at drivers further down the order. Philip Snipes, one of those drivers. Ali Osman, one of those drivers. They're not in the top 20, but they're the drivers that have nothing to lose otherwise. And obviously, you see here as the race leader came down pit lane. Pit window is open, and Solis will do the same thing, as will others.
Your leader's not leaving anything to chance. Oh, Solis gets sideways. Solis saves it on pit road. That could have been hazardous. That could have been dangerous to his run. He may have gotten in too hot. We'll have to see if he gets penalized as a result of that. But your leader is now coming down pit road at the exact moment that the window is open. These guys not leaving anything to chance as they start coming down, knowing that their competitors behind him are going to have to follow in the next 5 laps.
Christian Budd coming down pit lane now. Mike Rasmus once again at the front of the field as the caution comes out.
Oh, that's going to hurt those who just came down pit road. That is not what they wanted to see when they came down. Second caution of the night, scoring lap number 42. We'll have to take a moment to find out where exactly that happened. But yeah, if you're one of those guys who just came down pit road, if you did not get off before the caution flag flew, you are very much not a happy camper right now.
Yeah, we're going to have to go back to the moment of caution here. Nick Doucette, I don't believe it was him, but it may have been near pit lane as we try to cycle our way through here. We apologize for the any level of
Carmen, we're journalists. We never apologize.
We're just trying to see. It may have been someone leaving pit lane. We're trying to figure that out. And
maybe it was mystery debris. These were the times that you could get away with throwing a piece of foam outside your window from one of your roll bars and get a caution. Just throw it out there.
We're trying to see here. It looks like it may have been further down the order. Again, this is very interesting. Just trying to gather where this all happened. Oh, that's where it happened. It is McKissick. So we did find it there. Took us a little bit, but it is Brandon McKissick because it didn't pop up as an incident that was McKissick because McKissick obviously spun down pit lane. He wasn't on track for very long, but this is what happens here. Just trying to get down pit lane, and it's going to go poorly as TJ Crampton in the 50 runs him over. A little bit of net code there, but that was going to be assured contact anyway, just with how McKissick was checking up trying to hit pit lane. And that is Ryan Doucette. Oh, he was one of the front runners that just got collected in that. Anthony Krobach gets lucky to avoid that.
Yeah, I don't think there was any malice in that hit. I don't think that it was intentional to take McKissick out there. I think that was simply just a miscommunication between McKissick and the driver behind him. As McKissick tried to get down pit lane, he didn't go down far enough. The 53 didn't know what to do, and so ultimately they make contact, and that brings out the caution flag for the second time tonight. TJ Crampton, he's got to feel really guilty about that one. This is a league with a lot of respect for each other. The drivers have a lot of respect for each other, but sometimes racing just happens, and that's one of those incidents where you just got to look at it and go, well, that was a really bad racing incident, but life goes on.
Yeah, unfortunate there for Crampton, even more unfortunate there for Ryan Doucette, whose good run comes to a very big halt here at Texas Motor Speedway.
Doucette and McKissick will have damage you're going to have to address during this caution flag. Again, a lot of drivers who were down, who came down pit road are now going to be stuck towards the back of the field as we see one driver getting their lap back there. We'll have to catch up with that in a moment. So
looks
far,
like a lot of wave rounds here.
Yeah, so you're going to see a lot of wave rounds this time by. Let's take a look now at the standings, what they look like right this second. So Bud right now is your leader, followed by the 48 of Peleg. Campbell, Rasmus, and Smith Jr. and Smith second will round out your top five. Going back a little bit further, Alexander in sixth, Emily Howe in seventh, TJ Crampton in eighth, Tom Lewandowski in ninth, and the number 11 of Anthony Kroback in your top 10. Drivers that are not in the top 10 right now. The 29 of Jose Solis Jr. Obviously McKissick was involved in that incident, so he's not going to be up there as well. In fact, is that Solis lining up one lap down?
Yeah, Solis is a lap down right now. Solis is the first car lap down and 34th right now, as you see scrolling at the bottom of your screen. A lot of cars, again, that shuffling, a lot of drivers able to get out of pit lane before going a lap down. But Solis Jr., because he was one of the first ones that came in, was heavily pinned a lap down.
That is a really tough break for Solis Jr., who was in competition to win this race. As I said earlier, this race could be won or lost on pit road. And for Solis Jr., unless he gets a miracle, it may have been lost for him on pit road by no fault of his own. This time by, the pace car will make its hard left turn down pit road. And the 17 machine of Christian Budd, third last season in the Winstel Cup standings, looking for his first win here on the season. The 17 now in command of the field when the green flag flies. He'll be the first one to start him up. Green flag in the air. The 29 gets a big run. He wants to get his lap back and get back on the race. 17, no fight from him as he's got to fight off Peleg.
Yeah, Christian Budd knows that Solis is going to be a little bit quicker here, but the issue is making sure that you can just stay with him at this point in time, because Zach Campbell's in third. There's a little bit of a barrier now for Zach Campbell to actually try to go through. Campbell in that 41 car, again, sitting in third, has been really strong all day long in that 41 Fujifilm Dodge. But you see there Christian Budd trying to waltz away with the race win if he can. Easier said than done.
Looks like he's using... Easier said than done indeed. It looks like he's using a little bit of the draft from the 29 to start moving away from the rest of the field. He's got about 2 car lengths on Peleg. He's got a nice little run against the 41 of Zach Campbell, and now they're going 3 wide further back in the field. That's going to be the 11 of Lewandowski. Check that, the 11 of Anthony Kroback. He started in the top 10. He wants to get a little bit better position than he had as he starts fighting alongside, I believe that is the 9 machine.
Yeah, it's Brendan McGee. Lewandowski, you mentioned there, used the outside lane to get around both of them. So he was in that mix, but Lewandowski definitely having his mind on better pastures there. As you see a car on the outside lane, I believe that's Emily Howe. It is the 15 Emily Howe in the top 10 in 7th place at the moment. Trying to reel in Aaron Smith in and trying to get close to that top 5 anyway. There's Parker Alexander trying to be alongside Zach Campbell, and they both almost had a really big incident there in 1 and 2.
Discretion is the better part of valor as they both get back in line, and they're going to line up. The 3 of them will line up, actually. 1, 2, 3. Emily Howe in her flying machine trying to be the one that gets around him. No dice this time by, but you know the 41's got to start getting impatient. We're only 11 laps left in this race, and if he's got to start moving, he's got to start moving right now in order to try to take this race away from Bud. So far, Bud walking away with it. Peleg only 2/10 of a second behind.
Keep an eye, look a little further back, we're looking back at Emily Howe. Keep an eye on that spoiler. She just tagged the wall hard and she just skewed the right rear to her car. It's not level anymore. So there's some damage there on that right rear. Obviously we didn't have a good look of it here so far. See if we can get a better look of it coming into the turn. Yeah, she's pancaked that wall a little bit on that right side, trying to use that outside lane to her advantage so far. But you see the traffic just pulling away from her. She's done a little bit of damage to that car.
In some tracks, you want a flatter right side to get a little bit more aerodynamics. This track, you can't afford that, especially with the spoiler messed up like that. It will take away some downforce, and it could easily start acting like a parachute instead of a speed boost. In front of them, it looks like Carpenter is going to be under fire one more time. Let's go ahead and ride along now with Mauricio, who is riding behind the 97 machine in traffic. He's trying to make the low line work for him. He wants to be the first driver to win 2 races on the field, but he's got a long way to go uphill. 9 laps to go this time by.
Yeah, big move there. Obviously, you would talk about at the beginning of the broadcast how this race can really flip things upside down. There's Matt Taylor, who started this race a lap down, now getting around the Daytona 500 race winner and the points leader, who is now outside the top 20 in points after starting this race in the top 5. That is how big this race has been, just in terms of flipping the complexion of this season so far. And with 8 laps to go, coming to I believe 7 laps to go, it's going to get even more crazy.
We may see another caution yet before this race is over, as you see the 32 machine tag the outside wall, but keep going. Remember, if we do get a late caution, there's only one attempt at the green-white checkered, and if that fails, the field is locked based on when the caution came out. Or do they race back? Do they race back here, Carmen?
So once we get to the green-white checkered, that is the point of no return. They race it back.
They race it back come hell or high water. So a lot of these guys hoping not to see that green-white checkered as traffic scattered, smothered, and all over the place on this field. Rewind up back near Mauricio as he tries to make the long climb back up the mountain. No dice so far. He'll get stuck back there side by side. Meanwhile, up front, no big change. The 17 of Bud may back into this win, and that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, biggest battle at the front of the field is for the 6th position. Aaron Smith's gotten away with the top 5 at the moment. Emily Howe trying to get around and stay ahead of Thomas Lewandowski, with Brendan McGee not far behind. Then you have Anthony Crow back there in 9th. Zach Campbell sitting in the top 10. But just right now, everyone really scrambling now, as that last caution really flipped this race on its head. Now everyone just sprinting to the finish here.
5 laps to go. Everybody sprinting to the finish. The best battle right now between the 21 and the 15 side by side. Lewandowski wants a position. Emily House says, I don't think so. Oh, no. Emily House going to be forced to go way high. The 21 will pick that up. And now the 9 machine, that belongs to Brendan McGee. He's going to get some position as well. And now you're starting to see the damage on Emily House's car start to hurt her as she starts falling backwards through this field. Up front, it's still Christian Budd's race to lose.
Yeah, obviously that's the huge ordeal there for Christian Budd. Obviously looking really promising for Ford for 4 in the race winners club. But the points are going to be so important to calculate here at the end of this race. Obviously, this is the last race before the top 35 in points begin to be the cutoff factor for those locked in. So very important to see how these points really stack up. Remember, after the first 16 races, the chase begins. So after tonight, we're already a quarter of the way through the regular season here in the Winstel Cup Series. Not a lot of time to sit and just twiddle your thumbs and dilly-dally. You've got to make work happen here with 2 laps to go.
2 laps to go. Let's go ahead and go back up front as Bud continues to lead, has a sizable lead now over the 6 machine, may be a lap down. Mike Rasmus you see second. Him there. Rasmus is second. Okay, never mind. Christian Budd racing against Mike Rasmus in second. A big gap between them, about 2 car lengths. Now Rasmus starting to get some momentum, running that outside line, running that higher line, trying to catch up to him. 1 lap to go this time around. White flag is out. This race will be over. No matter what happens at this juncture, it's going to be Bud, Rasmus first and second. Rasmus trying to do everything he can to try to catch up to the 17 of Bud. Nothing working for him. He can't get his front bumper to the back of Bud. Bud now going down into the 3rd and 4th.
Yeah, those 3 and 4 right there. Rasmus tried sending it, but it's not going to happen.
Not gonna happen, and Christian Budd will be your 4th unique winner in 4 races here in the Winstel Cup Series. Rasmus 2nd, Peleg 3rd, Alexander 4th, and Smith rounding out your top 5. As we said at the beginning of the broadcast, it's going to be pit road deciding this race, and Carmen, I think we saw that happen.
Not in the way we thought it was going to, but yeah, you're absolutely right there. Pit lane was the big critical factor. Mike Rasmus, who almost was stuck a lap down, almost made that a bad pit lane call, avoids it here in a huge effort tonight, ends up with the 2nd place as well. Another podium for Rasmus here in Texas. What a good run, but Christian Budd, he gets to burn it down. He had 1 win in modern Winstel history, and that was last year on a plate track. Now he's got one. This one feels good.
It's got to feel great. Now he can call himself a 2-time winner as you watch him do the donuts right on the front stretch here at Texas Motor Speedway. Christian Budd in the DeWalt Ford will be your winner, your 4th new winner in 4 races. Stick with us for the post-race show. We're going to talk to your top 3, recap the unofficial results, and look forward to our next race here on ABN. Stick around.
Phenomenal effort here. While we wait for the drivers to get lined up for the interview, let's go ahead and talk about the results for this race, because obviously it was a really big race tonight. Christian Budd, really big moment for him, a race winner here in Texas. It can't get much better for him. Mike Rasmus, Sean Peleg, they rounded out the podium. We feel like we've seen a combination of these two on the podium before. But they get to share the podium. We get to talk to all 3 of them here this evening. Parker Alexander in 4th, Aaron Smith the top 5, along with Thomas Lewandowski, Brendan McGee, Emily Howell, and Anthony Krobach in your top 9. Chris Champeau, didn't talk much about him in this race this evening, but he gets away with a top 10 here. Not a bad result there for the 18 car there for Joe Gibbs Racing. Further down the order, you got TJ Crampton, you've got Justin Howell. We didn't say his name a whole lot, but he ended up with a good top 12 finish. Christina Ryan in 13th, an even better run for her. Larry Pace, Zach Campbell, what could have been for him in that 41 car. He's going to be so upset with how this race turned out for him, but unfortunately, that's the way the strategy battle turned out there. 15th, the best that he can get. Dylan Roberts, likewise, going to be disappointed. Jonathan Hernandez, Philip Snipes, who got back on the lead lap, was able to get that free pass and get up to the top 20. He gets ahead of the former points leader, Gabriel Mauricio. I don't think he survived being points leader tonight. Ali Osman, who we've not seen since Daytona, rounds out the top 20 here in Texas. Looking a little bit further down the order as we accidentally went back the wrong way. There we go. Michael O'Brien in 21st. That's what we were looking for here. This was the race that he needed. He entered this race on the cut line in 35th. Now he is safe. He is locked in, at least for the next couple races. He is good to go. And that's going to be very important because we have the Easter break next week. So we get to sort of sit and take a deep breath and really sort of hold on to it for a little bit. Michael O'Brien will not have to worry about that stress going on the other side of the Easter break. Evan Locke didn't have the greatest race either, but he wasn't in trouble this race at all. Just kind of stuck there in the mid-pack there. Nick Doucette, what could have been for him, 23rd place there alongside Alex Bates. Brandon Cruz, Corey Steinhauser, Tyler Murray, Andrew Griesbaum, and Corey Cook, your top 29. Jose Solis Jr., who we saw there just get back on the lead lap on that last restart. If it's not bad luck, it's no luck at all for Jose Solis Jr. Led laps, it seemed like in that icebreaker 29 that it was going to be his moment. Obviously getting stuck a lap down there on that caution. Completely ripped all that away. Now he gets to wait for 2 weeks, and that's going to really sit and weigh him down there as he sits in the 30th position here at Texas Motor Speedway. We'll look a little further down. This is the final page of the results here, minus, I think, a couple of cars here. I think we're looking at Ryan Doucette and Leandro Morera, 41st and 42nd. But looking further on down the order here, this is 31st through 40th. Jared Bales, James Bowles, Ken Huff, Mo Perry, Craig Lautenschlager. Again, a lot of these drivers involved in early accidents in this race. Hayden Repas, Olivia Hayward, who spent most of this time as a modified and not as a stock car. Matt Taylor, Davin Cornelius, and Brandon McKissick, your top 40 here at Texas Motor Speedway. but a fun race overall, a very fun event here. We're going to talk to our podium finishers. We'll start with third place finisher, Sean Peleg.
Sean Peleg, the driver of that 48 Lowe's Chevrolet, finishing third tonight. And Sean, it was definitely a haul trying to move up from where you started up into the top three. What happened to get it running for you during the race?
Yeah, I wasn't too happy with myself on my qualifying effort. Starting 15th, I was really hoping for a higher number to show up on the board once I finished my lap. So I knew, like I said when we were in the booth here with you last week, you get in the mid-pack here in Winstel, it is tough to make up ground. And I knew once I was starting 15th, it was going to be tough. And as you saw, the first run, the second run, the highest I got was around 10th. It was really tough for me to make up spots, and I was just about starting to come to grips with just trying to get a top 10 today, and then that caution during the pit cycle just flipped everything on its head.
You mentioned it flipped everything on its head. How much did that change your race, and how much did that change your confidence that you could pick up a second podium in 2 weeks?
Oh, it was everything. My eyes lit up as soon as those caution lights did, because I'm not sure where your cameras were at the moment of the caution, but I had just got to the pit line. I had just got into the pits when the caution came out. If it had come out just a second later, earlier, I think I wouldn't have been able to be in the pits, but I knew I was going to be able to get 4 tires, get a free pit stop. And when I saw I was cycling out third behind Bud, wherever I was, I knew it was a different game now, and I just had to hold on up here. But Christian was ridiculously fast. He was super consistent and smooth on that last run there. I think I burned my stuff up just a little bit too much on the first 5 laps of the run, so I was paying for it at the end. And then Mike, he, this is his first season in Winstel, and he is so fast. I gotta give props to him, because every single week now he has been right at the end, either right there about to pass me or actually passing me. I remember at Rockingham, he got me in the last corner, dropped me down to 4th. Otherwise, you guys would have had 3 straight interviews with me. But a lot of fun, a lot of fast people. Very thankful for that caution, or else it would have been tough to even stay in the top 10.
Sean, we take a break now for the Easter holiday. What do you do over the next 2 weeks? How do you carry the momentum of 2 straight podiums, take a break, and then try to recatch that lightning in a bottle one more time? How do you keep your mind in it to be able to win it?
Well, it's definitely going to be good to have a week off to relax on a Sunday night, Easter Sunday. We got the Richmond race that night. That'll be hopefully fun to watch, but I'll be doing some racing. Just the main thing is in the lead up, in the few days leading up to the race. Got to make sure I get back in the swing of things, back ready to race. Got some tough tracks coming up, but I think I'll be able to put together some good runs, hopefully, as long as everything stays together and I keep having good luck like this. I think by this time last year, I had more finishes outside the top 20 than inside it, so hopefully I can keep this run going. It feels good to be finishing up front.
You're going to be the first one I ask this question to. We're a quarter of the way through the regular season. What race are you looking forward to, and which one are you dreading?
Oh, that's a good question. I'll be interested to hear what other answers you get. Looking forward to, I'm not sure. Charlotte, the long Charlotte race, our 600. I think we're running 100 laps there at Charlotte. That's going to be an interesting one. There's going to be a lot of strategy playing out, so I'm not too sure whether I'm not sure if I'm ready or not, because my strategy, I've been lucky here. It's been iffy in the past, but I'm definitely interested to see how that 100 lapper plays out. Other than that, I don't know if there's any that I'm really dreading per se. Richmond scares me sometimes, but yeah, I'll get back to you. Hopefully next time we talk, I'll have a better answer for you on which one I'm dreading.
I look forward to that. Sean, who makes it work for you?
Just like last week, everybody here at Winstel, Brennan McGee, all the admins. I'm just so lucky to be able to race with such a great group of drivers from first to 43rd, however many cars we get. Everybody is ready to race and ready to put on a good show. Thank you guys for broadcasting us, and hopefully we can keep it going all the rest of the season.
Sean Palek makes his second podium appearance in 2 weeks here in the Nextel Series, finishing third at Texas Motor Speedway.
Thank you, guys.
Mike Rasmus, the rookie this season, coming home in second place. Mike, you had a rough start of it from qualifying. At what point did you get excited? Did you realize I might be able to make a podium out of this?
I figured out that I could keep with the top 10 pretty well. I was kind of gaining some ground to the people behind me, so I was like, all right, maybe I have some pace, maybe some late run pace type of thing, and just trying to keep it up there to see what happened, coming to the pit stops and all that. So, yeah, super happy. Just came out on the good end of that caution flag and everything. So, feels good.
That caution flag really shook up things. How much did it change your race tonight?
Well, it got me closer to the front, and I thought maybe I had a chance, which I wasn't really thinking before. I was kind of hoping maybe top 10 earlier than that, and then I found myself up there, and I said, all right, it's time to go and see what happens. And drivers like Sean are so hard to pass. I used all my stuff up trying to pass Sean, so just did my best, and really happy about the result.
So we take a week off next week. We're back in 2 weeks. How do you keep the momentum going? What are you going to be doing in the next 2 weeks to stay fresh going into our next race in Martinsville?
Martinsville is going to be a different story, I think. Just a super tough track, and I'm not great at it. So I'm hoping, just remember car control. Trying to keep everything under me, and that's what I did today. I tried to keep the tires as cool as possible, I guess. And Martinsville hopefully will be really fun, but also might be pretty chaotic. So looking forward to it.
Here's the question I'm asking everybody tonight. All three of the finishers, podium finishers tonight, we're a quarter way through the regular season. Coming up in the schedule, what's a race you're looking forward to the most, and which one are you dreading the most?
I'm thinking one race ahead. So Martinsville coming up. Like I said, I'm not great at Martinsville, but I'm still looking forward to the race. I guess I haven't looked to see what's next after Martinsville, but hopefully just keep things positive. Just trying to have fun in this league, and it has been super fun so far. So we're just taking it one race at a time.
Mike, who makes it work for you down there?
Everybody who runs the league. I'm new here, and everybody's cool, and it's super fun and nostalgic, and I just really, really thankful to be here.
Mike Rasmus in the number 6 Viagra Ford finishes second tonight, looking to continue to build off that momentum in 2 weeks. Christian Budd, your winner here at Texas Motor Speedway, outlasting everybody to come in first. And Christian, it's got to be a great feeling to know you are the 4th driver to win in the 4th race here in the 2014 Winstel Cup Series.
Yeah, it feels really good. Yeah, it's so hard to win in this league. There's just a lot of talented drivers. Can't say I didn't get a little lucky tonight with the way the caution fell and everything. Started off the race a little rough, just kind of burned my stuff up early and was falling back, and then felt like I was getting a hang of it in the second run. And then once I was able to get the track position, just kind of needed to make sure I kept hitting my marks and took care of my stuff just a little bit, just make sure I didn't throw it away.
That caution absolutely changed things up for you. When you saw that caution flag come out, what changed in your mindset? What made it happen? And you kind of flipped the switch to think, I got a big shot at winning this.
Well, the first thing that went through my mind was the fact that this happened twice to me last season, and I managed to lose both those races. So I really didn't want to lose another one. But I knew with track position, I felt like my short run pace was pretty good. So I felt pretty confident that I'd be able to put up some decent laps, and just didn't want to make any mistakes. I knew Jose was going to be up there trying to stay on the lead lap, and I tried to just kind of give him his space to run, but then he started falling back a little bit. So I got around him, and then saw Sean starting to creep up on me a little bit there, and then he got racing with the 6, and then after that, the 6 was starting to creep a little bit. So, just really couldn't rest any of those last 15 laps or so.
All right, question number 1. We're going to be off for a week, then come back to Martinsville in 2 weeks. What are you doing to keep your mind fresh? What are you doing to keep the momentum going while we're on the holiday break?
Well, I've got Road to Pro stuff going on, so that'll keep me racing. But then as far as just Winstel goes, I mean, I just have so much fun with these races. I look forward to every week that we run them. And, so going to Martinsville is just going to be just another week. Hopefully when this all shakes out, I can be in the top 10 and go for the championship. But, just have to enjoy them while they come.
That leans into my final question for you tonight. Quarter of the way through the regular season, what are you looking forward to in the next 12 races? What are you dreading the most in the next 12 races?
Honestly, I'm looking forward to the 600. We managed to win that one last year, and it's one of my favorite races, one of my favorite tracks. It's going to be the longest race we've won and run under this format. So I'm looking forward to that quite a bit. Should be pretty interesting. As far as dreading, I mean, I don't know that I dread any track. I don't particularly enjoy super speedways when they come up, and I'm not very good at road courses. So I guess if you had to say ones that are tougher for me, those would be it. But they're all on a schedule, and you got to try and perform the best you can at every one. So you just go out there and do the best, and hopefully you can win.
Christian Budd, the 4th driver in 4 races to take the checkered flag here at Texas Motor Speedway. Who makes it work for you, buddy?
Big shout out to everybody who makes Winstel run. Brennan McGee definitely has built something special here, so I'm quite happy to be a part of that. All the admins who work really hard behind the scenes. Tyler Head, who's done a ton of our graphical work here that you guys see every week. All the drivers who just show up and race really hard and take it seriously. Everybody gets a lot of credit for that. And of course, you guys doing the broadcast each week makes this a lot of fun. You can go back and check it out. And I just want to say, anybody who's watching this and says, man, I'd really like to be a part of this. This looks really fun. You can be. We don't close registrations. So if you want to join up and run races, you can do that.
Christian Budd, winner here tonight at Texas Motor Speedway.
Thank you.
Carmen, that was one incredible sprint race we saw, and the caution was the big defining factor that we're all going to be talking about coming out of tonight. What are your final thoughts as we get ready to close it down?
Obviously, a phenomenal run here tonight. A couple of cautions, couple of very critical cautions that really flipped this race upside down. It flipped the points upside down. Gabriel Mauricio, we've seen him obviously be phenomenal in these races. First race, he's not been in the top 10. He finished 19th tonight. But you have the Easter holiday, right? This is the first break of the season. How do drivers respond coming back from that break, having that time off? Because we come out of the break and the season immediately gets infinitely harder looking the further down you go. Obviously, we have Martinsville on the 7th of April. Then he goes Fontana, then Richmond, and then Charlotte, one of the longest races of the season. That is a marathon. That is an Ironman marathon of a 4-race climb. And then Pocono and Sonoma right after that. The sucker punch after sucker punch after sucker punch. If you're not a fan of short ovals, if you don't like road courses, if you're not a fan of the super wide tracks like Fontana, that is a nightmare climb for you. Obviously, some drivers will like something in that 6-race stretch, but drivers will have to compromise over those next 6 races. What does that look like? We've gotten to the first 4 races where obviously last 2 races were very similar to each other with Vegas and Texas. That's not going to be that way until July now. So you have to really find it within you to come up and find that extra 5 and 10% on track, especially at some of these tracks that are going to be very difficult. But that's the magic of it. There's a lot of talent in the Winstel Cup Series. And I'm excited to get on the other side of that Easter break and really see who can put the pressure on and go for try to go for one of those chase spots.
4 races, 4 different winners, and the hardest part of the season is right about to begin. You will not want to miss this racing when we come back in 2 weeks. We're taking next week off for Easter holiday. Happy Easter to all those who celebrate. We will be back on April 7th, 7:45 Eastern Time, 5:45 or 4:45 Pacific Time, when we go racing from Martinsville. Until then, my name's Joe Cortez. On behalf of my broadcast partner, Carmen Sienna, you've been watching live coverage of the Winstel Cup Series at Texas Motor Speedway. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time when we say, let's go racing from Martinsville. Good night, everybody.